What it is, my Tenno Peace and Grease here, and today is going to be the all Voidplume episode. I guess you could say the Voidplume guide. We're going to be talking about what the hell are Voidplumes, what the hell do you spend Voidplumes on, where the hell do you get Voidplumes, as well as some tips and tricks and farming methods to give you the best bang for your buck in farming Voidplumes. So, with all that being said, let's start at the beginning. And what the hell are Voidplumes? Voidplumes are a new resource that DE added to the game with the Angels of Zariman update. Now, currently, there are 5 total Voidplumes in the game. We have crests, pinions, quills, veins, as well as downs. Now, the next question is obviously, what do you spend Voidplumes on? Well, when you think of this game, or the factions in this game, I should say, they all work in relatively the same manner. And that is, if you happen to run a mission or a bounty for a faction, then they typically recognize that and reciprocate in the form of standing. They give you standing for the work that you do for them. However, the factions, the Holdfast faction here, sadly does not work that way. You could run 300,000 bounties or missions for this faction, and you'll never gain a single point of standing, sadly. Furthermore, there is no alternative methods to farming Voidplumes or standing. There is no fishing, hunting, or mining here. And you know what? I commend DE on removing that, because it wouldn't make sense on a spacefaring vessel to have fishing, hunting, and mining. But I really had hoped that DE would kind of go back to the drawing board and come up with 1 or 2 other methods that would allow us to gain standing in Voidplumes in another way other than, just running bounties. So what you're going to have to do then to gain standing is you're going to have to bring them to Yanta, and you're going to have to exchange them for standing. Now, the Voidplume pinions are worth 5,000 standing. The quills are worth 2,500, which I personally think this is too big of a drop. I think this should be 3,500 for the quills. So you go from 5,000 to 3,500, and that should, dwindle down to the other Voidplumes. But sadly, we have to play the hand, the DE Delta. So these are worth 2,500. Crests are worth 2,000. Veins are worth 1,000. And downs are worth 500. Now, another way that you may use your Voidplumes is to rank up this faction. Unfortunately, it's just Voidplume cost after Voidplume cost after Voidplume cost with this faction. To give you an example, to go from neutral with this faction to Fallen, you had to give 5 Voidplume downs. Then to go from Fallen to Watcher, you had to give 10 Voidplume veins. 5 or 10. I think it was 10. And then to go from Watcher to Guardian, you had to give 10 Voidplume crests. So, obviously, you're going to have to donate Voidplumes to rank up, as well as the standing, obviously, and these other items. I imagine that the next faction is probably going to be Quills, and probably Pinions after that, if I had to guess. The third and final method in which you might use your Voidplumes is Caballero, and that is the evolving or incarnate weapons. Now, if you haven't been to the Chrysalith, you haven't perused Caballero's, goods, then you may be shocked here. So you may want to prepare yourself. When we look at the first weapon, it's the Latum, and it's only 3,000 standing to buy the blueprint, which is fine. However, to build it, they do want a Voidplume Pinion, which, as we already discussed, is worth 5,000 standing, and 5 Voidplume Quills on top of that, which are worth 2,500 standing a pop. Now, total to buy 1 blueprint and build 1 Latum, it's 20,500 standing, which I don't have a problem with. I think that that is perfectly acceptable and within line of what you would expect to pay to buy and build a weapon. However, things take a dark turn as we progress. When we look at the Finmore, obviously the price is going up because it's a different rank. So that's 6,000 standing to buy the blueprint, but that's not even the bad part. It wants 15 Voidplume Pinions, and again, we already discovered that those are worth 5,000 standing each. That's 75,000 standing, and we're not even done yet. Plus, it also wants 20 Voidplume Quills, 2,500 a pop. That's 50,000 standing. 50,000 plus 75,000 is 125,000 standing to build 1 Finmore. That's shocking, to say the least. But that's not even the worst part. We get to the Praetos, which, spoiler alert, the Praetos, not that good. There are better melee weapons in this game, so this is going to be MR fodder for a lot of people, unless DE gives it a buff, which probably is not going to happen. But it wants to build one Praetos, another 15 Voidplume pinions, 5,000 standing each, that's 75,000 standing, plus 30 Voidplume quills this time, or 2,500 standing a pop. That's another 75,000 standing. So 75,000 plus 75,000 is 150,000 standing. That is insane. Insane. Now, if none of those numbers have shocked you yet, prepare yourself to buy one of each blueprint for these 3 weapons, and to build just one weapon one time. It's going to cost you over 300,000 standing. This is truly unbelievable. Truly unbelievable. That cost is utterly ridiculous. And here's the funny part. I was really excited for these evolving weapons because I bought the, what was it, the Protovire evolving armor, ephemera, and Syandana. I was really excited about this, but I am no longer excited. It hit my mic, sorry about that. I'm no longer excited about these because I am fearful for the future of Incarnates. Because if it's going to cost us 125, not even that, it's going to cost us 131,000 to buy one blueprint and build one Finmore, and it's going to cost us 159,000 standing to buy one blueprint and build one Praetos, which is MR fodder. The future is scary for Incarnate weapons because what's next, DE? A Incarnate weapon that's going to cost us 500,000 standing to build? Because the cost is going to go up, folks. The cost isn't going to go down. DE's not going to lower the cost on the next Incarnates. They're going to jack the price up sky high. I fully expect the prices to get out of hand. We're talking 1-2 million standing to build one Incarnate weapon if things keep going like this. It's scary for sure, to say the least. Now, with that being said, you're probably wondering, well, okay, with all that being said, how the hell do you get these things? All right, good question. Whoops, wrong direction.
Come on.
Now, this is really misleading. So when you look at the bounties and you look at the first bounty, for example, you see Voidplume down. So naturally, like myself, you may consider that, well, I just have to run the bounty until these drop, right? Not exactly. Sadly, in all of the first bounties I have ran, which is a ton, there has never once been a single Voidplume drop as a bounty reward. It has never dropped from this bounty. The same thing has occurred on the second bounty as well for Voidplume Veins. It's never once dropped as a bounty reward. Likewise, I can't believe I did that. For the third bounty, it is the same. In all of the bounties that I have ran, it has never once dropped as a bounty reward. Not one single crest has dropped. Now, from what we can tell, it seems as if these Voidplumes spawn randomly somewhere on the map. And so the idea is that you go into a mission, you run the bounty, and then you stick around to Easter egg hunt these Voidplumes. Which really kind of begs the question, if we use this same logic, then technically DE can put an Ayatan sculpture in damn near every mission in the game. In fact, even these bounties. And the reason that I'm suggesting that is because every time you spawn into a mission or a tile set, there's a chance an Ayatan sculpture is going to spawn somewhere on the map, and you just have to Easter egg hunt it. Very similar to Voidplumes. Now, at this point, if you're thinking that the process to finding Voidplumes sounds eerily familiar, you're correct. You, my friend, you just win the gold star. Because these are just Syndicate Medallions. Nothing more. These are just Syndicate Medallions. Nothing original here. And if you don't know what Syndicate Medallions are, essentially the idea is you do a mission for your one of your syndicates, and the process is you have to search every inch of the map on that mission. You have to search every room, every nook, every cranny, every corner, every hidden room, every out of bounds area. You have to search the entire map. And what it does is take a 5 or 10 minute mission and turns it into an hour-long ordeal. And they were miserable. And the players despised the Syndicate Medallion mission. Couldn't stand them. But yet, here DE is using the Syndicate Medallion mission in their new update. The question is, nobody at DE was concerned about this? Make no mistake, DE is aware that the players fucking despise Syndicate Medallion missions. They despise them. In fact, funny story, true story. Years ago, playing this game, I used to be able to pick up ribbon mods dirt cheap when they had the Syndicate Medallion mission, which that challenge typically went find X amount of Syndicate medallions on a Syndicate mission, and that was the challenge, to unveil the ribbon mod. Players wouldn't even bother unveiling it. That's how much they fucking despise the Syndicate Medallion missions. And now DE is using it as a tool to beat us over the head, essentially. What do they think the result is going to be? Us liking the mission more or less? Yeah, they really kind of shot this update in its foot with this kind of logic. Like, I am startled that nobody at DE thought, this is a bad idea. This is a horrific idea. But, again, here we are. Questionable decision? Check. Now, and let me start off by saying this. If you're trying to farm Geyer parts, for example, if you're trying to farm relics, if you're trying to farm the new weapon, right, or these focus lunges, you're best off running the bounties. And I want to be clear about that, because I'm going to suggest a method, and it works extremely well for Voidplumes, but you forego those rewards. The lenses, the Geyer parts, this weapon, the relics, you're going to forego those rewards. You're not going to get those in the method I'm going to suggest. You're still going to get credits. You're still going to get, Indo. You're still going to get Void. Obviously, the focus is Voidplumes. You're still going to get those. You're still going to get Andrade Lanthorns. You're still going to get, you're still going to get all of the normal, typical rewards kind of items. You're just going to forego the Geyer parts, the relics, the lenses, things of that nature. Now, if your focus is to farm Voidplumes, there's only two missions I would recommend. The first is the Exterminate, and the second is the Mobile Defense. Those are the only two missions worth running if your focus is farming Voidplumes. Unfortunately, the Void Floods, the Cascades, all of these types of missions, they suck for farming Voidplumes. And the reason for this is one of these, I don't remember which one, will actually boot you out of the mission as soon as the bounty objective is complete. So, yeah, it'll boot you straight to the elevator, which obviously sucks if you're trying to stick around and farm Voidplumes. The others basically have either a building meter or some type of timer that you need to be constantly engaging with the bounty objective, or you're risking failing the mission. So that's why those don't work. And that's why I'm recommending only the Exterminates or the Mobile Defense. Now, with that being said, if Quinn happens to have an Exterminate mission, a bounty up, run it. That's fine. You can still stick around and farm the Voidplumes. Same thing from the Mobile Defense. The problem with the bounties, pretty much all bounties, is that really they're held hostage by this stupid freaking timer, which is a problem, obviously. Furthermore, you kind of have to cross your fingers and hope that the game is going to pick out a good mission type. What if, hypothetically, this was the Cascade, this was the Flood, this was the other one, I can't remember what it is now. What do you do then? Well, thankfully, there is good news in the method I'm going to suggest. So there's two ways that you can do this. The first way is that you can go to fast travel. Notice I have nothing queued up, no mission selected. I'm going to go to fast travel, and then I'm going to go to Zeramon navigation. Now, you can also get to these from your orbiter, actually just selecting a regular mission on the Chrysalith. So you can also kind of get there from there. So, again, the two missions, Exterminate and Mobile Defense. Now, at this point, if you're sitting out there saying, nope, peace, it's not going to work, that's level 50 to 55, I need a different level. No, you don't. You don't. You just don't. You see, the thing is, Voidplumes aren't level specific, meaning you're going to get a variety of Voidplumes when you run these missions. Furthermore, if you're wondering, well, is there an angel on these level 50 to 55 missions? Yes, there is. There's an angel every time. And you can fight the angel and you can get Voidplume pinions every mission. You can still get arcanes. You can still get Indo. You can still get credits. You can still get Iatan sculptures. You can still get Iatan stars. You can still get all the typical things you normally would in a mission. You're just foregoing those specific bounty rewards, the relics, the Gyre parts, things of that nature, which these work great for void plume farming. You can stick around as long as you want. If you want to stay on the map for 3 hours, you can do that. Now, the past couple of nights, my buddies and I, we spent a few hours every night in a row for 2 or 3 days farming these. And basically, we were leaving every one of these missions with 9 to 10 void plumes. We were just running these over and over again. Now, did it take us an hour, 45 minutes, half an hour? Yeah. It took us a while to find 9 to 10 of them because they hide them really well, unfortunately, and they don't have a very bright glow, and so you can miss it very easily. So yeah, I think also Andrade Lanthorns, in one mission we got 9. I'm not even joking. We got 9 Andrade Lanthorns from one mission, just sticking around, hitting every container. We smashed every container to get rid of it so it wasn't on our mini map anymore. And that's going to lead into the tips and tricks. Okay, so tips and tricks before we cut this video short. I would highly recommend running a companion. Doesn't matter what companion you run. Run whatever your favorite companion is, and you are completely fine. The reason I'm suggesting a companion is for Animal Instinct. Now, this is a mod that is going to boost your loot radar. Now, if you don't know what loot radar is, let me explain really quickly. For those of you that do, just bear with me. Loot radar is basically going to put an icon on your minimap, the upper left-hand corner of your screen, when you're in a mission. And it's going to, those icons are going to represent things like containers or Iatan sculptures. Syndicate Medallions, when you run those missions, will also have an icon. Or in this case, what we're looking for, Voidplumes. They will appear with a little icon in the minimap. For the bigger number of loot radar you get, the more range. So in this case, Animal Instinct has 30 loot radar, so you're going to have a certain amount of range for that loot radar, for those icons to appear on your minimap. Primed Instinct obviously has more, so you're going to gain a little bit more range on your minimap as far as those icons. So I would definitely recommend running an Animal Instinct. Again, it doesn't have to be a primed Animal Instinct if you don't have one or if you haven't leveled it. Regular Animal Instinct is fine, because that's going to lead into the next tip, which is run one of these loot radars on your Warframe. And I know, look, I get it. You have a build, you don't want to change your build, you want to keep the build the way it is, you don't want to have to take a good mod off of your Warframe just to put a stupid loot radar mod on your Warframe, right? Yeah, I know, I get it. I'm right there with you. I completely understand. But here's the deal, folks. These missions suck. And there's no polite way to put it. And I'm sorry, DE. I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm truly not. But farming void plumes is like having a fucking root canal. It is dreadful. It is awful. It is one of the worst mission types in this game. Well, makes sense because Syndicate Medallions were before that, and now it's these because unfortunately it seems like the maps have gained and much more in size, and they're just hiding these things. But there's no glow with these void plumes. There's no hum. You can walk right past one. And trust me, I have countless times. In fact, my buddies and I, we walked past one and we find, oh, wait a minute, there's an icon on our mini-map still. And we go back and go, well, there it is right there. So they're really easy to walk past. They're really easy to miss is my point. Having another type of loot radar is going to be very beneficial to you. And it's going to help you get through the mission quicker because you're going to see more of the icons on more of your mini-map. Again, just my 2 cents. So you can run loot radar, which is going to give you 30 loot radar, or loot detector, excuse me, which is going to give you 30 loot radar, or you can run Thieves' Witch, which is going to give you 12 more for a total of 42 loot radar. They have the same, cost of 7, and they're polarized exactly the same. So if I was going to run my Nidus in one of these missions, I would definitely ditch Augur Message and slap one of these mods in there. Absolutely, no question about it. Now, with all of that said, hopefully that helps you out with your void plume farming. Hopefully it gets you the void plumes you're looking for. Let me know what you guys and gals think down in the comment section below. And DE, listen, if some evil doer has broken into your studio and like taken control of your studio, in your next dev stream, just blink 3 times for us. Let us know you're in trouble, and we'll come and save you, and we'll liberate the DE studio. Okay? I'm kidding. Maybe. I don't know. Somebody's got to take the blame for all these horrendous decisions in this update. So I'm blaming a bad guy, right? Like I'm picturing a supervillain at DE. Like, We're going to make this game as miserable as possible for the players. You know, DE staffers like, no, please don't. That's kind of what I'm picturing in my head. I don't know. That sounds legit, right? Right? Till next time. Peace out.